Spirits have long ground, low river, low rocks, low caves. You apply walking ritual, low yam harvest, planting or low planting or harvesting. I'll give you a few minutes. It'll be good to just hear one or two. Because let me play you to count him tambu. We are not social people now. Because the tambu let me play also me play. It brings clan together. It brings relatives you don't know, but all sawe, all underlying network, all kinship system, unitary system, Pauli come. Especially lo feast na marit. So ancestors, you can't see any of the land. We can walk on it, but the tangible stuff that sort of all them come out law, all these belief systems, shall manipulate. It has, as we went through on Wednesday, and we got plenty road law, how we use it. Okay, so that's, has anyone got any, or lay? Have you got any, has anyone got anything, thing law, head him law, blah law, when my identity blow you blah law, law as place. Are you blah get a grow up law city, yeah? Law town. Come on. You blah can Sam. Because I think as ancestors and master on them ground. Because we see that this ancestors or all spirit lands have no ground. And the ground wraps up everything from mountains to valleys to rivers to caves and rocks and special sites. Nogata. So we'll move on. Can we just have one? Sorry?
You give him time to lay your know what or give me by katuk.
Okay. Okay. Suppose lay nogat go low advanced while he's thinking. Yeah, just have a couple. Suppose bounce you black out one blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Me grow up one time or two no blom lo bibo. Me black at ground is stop. Ground time or money goes there lo slab. Or tribe man yet or in magim ground. Ground or is a magim lo wara or mountain or some special place where or can magim so that no what narblaman by movie go narbla side lo tribe man is the blomen.
Okay.
Na ground is the or sem na mi play use him this la boundary or set him look at na mi plano sa move lo narbla lo katim karuga or panim kapulo katim diway or this lamb is the that's all bien lo this la sindanico now we got this step league because government na company already no been set him up could la sit down what they will papa ground now na got big problem is that low land. Thank you.
Okay. So that's ancestors and land and you talk yeah low boundary important law you blah. But making me I know I'm bruising this lie is what you're saying. It's a sign of respect to that. Okay. Lay you black at one blah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and just Christophania, like then that too one time say yeah ancestor na land the exchange one them bunra. But what the example where because I believe in it's the ancestor in the open Burki Bantri bumbong Arabin Burkim Kabumna tribe mtastalem.
Oh, okay.
Itu pun astronya membrukim sarwa get range. So
Mm.
mta sabihan itsla, o kamo sa kamabris na kando. Sa mtastalem eh. Ibla ko ti mta sa gumag because lo tumo na astronya na mta sabihan itsla.
Mm. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, True.
Excuse one province.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, Lay.
according to the land in my area, what shapes identity is that the community people usually say, "This is my land and my clan and my people." That culture identity in the land relates, gives them belongings and security. This is the kind of cultural belief they have. They are not really transformed to godly, uh, biblical view.
Mm.
Yeah, I consider that.
Okay. Mm. Hey, thank you. We all have our own stories na all story all tumbunda you grow up one time all them stuff one time you. So thank you for sharing those, and this is just I'm just using a lot of Tolai. So when you look at the tribal worldview of the land, ancestors and traditional wealth, well, Tubla pass and different from Christian teaching about creation, stewardship. It differ a little bit, but it's still, it's also spirit and stuff. There's always spirit involved, and you can almost transfer that to a Christian God. They then create him as something. So that'll come up in the biblical Hebrew worldview, Christian worldview when we look at that next week. Okay. So that's a more personal question. How do you personally integrate your faith with your tribe's beliefs? And this is where it challenges our faith and our position as Christians. When we've accepted Christ into our lives, and a lot of the beliefs might be too strong for us to digest, I guess, and accept it all. Mi tani mpini sa mi no olodisla. So you yet by looks I olodisla. Can they coexist? It's where you mix, blend the two. But Papa God am losing spirit lem makim yumi. So okay, that we those discussions normally would have that in groups, but we'll move on to the land and traditional economy today. And at the end of this, I want to looking at land and today's, even with the ILG input into and land tenure, where you look at that with the customary land, and we look at it from custom golo, today's version, how the land affects us today. So we look at land and traditional economy. So we know that land without ground, you mean that there's no basis for subsistence agriculture. We can't go do all those stuff. The economy is closely tied to the land and traditional methods of cultivation. We know that, and as I was saying, you may look him, you may burn him ground, or you may lose him and stop some years, you may move. We know that traditionally we've grown up with that, so all outside man come teaching me, but we've got our own way of doing this. We've got a good friend who lives in, an English guy, he lives in Kenya, and he does a lot of work with the Kenyan women's groups. He's married to a Sudanese. But even him, the Kenyan worldview has changed him in terms of farming, because he comes from a more what Roland did in his master's, looking at more technical farming system with the white people, but they've changed his perception in his whole approach to farming from an African perspective, and he talks openly about that. So what I'm saying, we've survived with our own systems. Online Kamtas, all they've put there probably had a bit of fertilizer and different thinking, but we've survived with our own system, with our traditional methods. Crown him, you may say. Crown him, I'm tired, lo, you may walk him, you may lose him past them. Because crown him, also man him less too. So if we overwork it. The management of resources is collective within our Melanesian context, with decisions made by clan leader or community elders to ensure, or even within groups, within family groups, how the community prosper is directly linked to the fertility of the land. So careful stewardship is essential. And I didn't put it in this PowerPoint, but one of the things too that, from a spiritual perspective, forgiveness, mi tok lo, mi lukim lo mi bla, time all Fijians come. Na mi big black akalo wokim lo tolai, all Uniting Church. Because all Fijians only come all missionary, mi black akai molia. Mi even mi bla try kakai msublol. Only Mumwinsuya, but Suem Suyet. Anyway, so this is 200 years later, all Fijians come. And lo, mi big plan reconciliation come up. Lo, only come, na mi talk sorry lo, all ancestors blood, all lania, all dio. This la time mi kakai mania. So I went, that's when I started doing my research. I went to the island. Now one pla tala lo there, one pla minister, tok lo me. The one time, someone who I went to uni with, I'm surprised to lo pa any mem lo. And they were so excited to actually see the result of that reconciliation. And this, if you're from the Highlands, and we are going to look at the reconciliation video at the end of this presentation, where at the end of that forgiveness and reconciliation and distributing gifts and shell money was broken, God blessed the land. All talk, bibla, all kakai bibla simple garden, over. All fish lo see over. Only looks I was straight lo hand lo Papa God. Missing down me harim story blow all them. And then in the 70s, because it came up in one of my classes last year or the year before, there was a ministry that was moving around alive in PNG in the 70s, where it was healing the land. There was a ministry that people were recognizing there through forgiveness. And those of you who are Christians from the Highlands, Ami Plato, Lonambis, in terms of your fight over land, Lomi Plato, there's always reconciliation. Now, if the gospel comes across them, and through repentance, now, sorry, I got my blessing here. I couldn't believe it when online talk. People are looking, hand lo Papa God bless him, ground blue me plan, nawara blue me plan, all talking me lo bless. Because all tola only talk sorry lol Fijians lol tumbunum blo mi pla all kakaim all tumbunum blo all. It's not only putting fertilizer over them something, but God works in his own ways. He restores land, he heals the land. Just tying that to that. So land tenure, that's in Melanesia is often based on customary system. There's customary land, that's state land. You may move away lo ancestors, you become law. today's way of looking at stuff. So where land rights are determined by clan membership, or you inherit him law land. Suppose your mama, crown come lo mama, em crown lo lapon mama, bla mi bla, em mas come lo mi bla ol mama. You bla ol papa, em lo papa. Or you bla call lo papa. But sample, I think lo only goes both mama and papa, huh? Lo mi bla ol tolai, must come lo mama. So these customary laws are different from Western concept of land ownership. We own land, ground law, group community law, Western one man own him, yeah. It's a commodity, it's something that you can exchange. Lo you mean or at stop local. Now you start to see problem when you start selling ground. You sign him name, lo you not sell him. But have you clear that with all your clan, your group? Example, time you walk in this out, tumbo na blow you me to all you know happy lo this lat. All tumbo all go with this. So there's always those ways of you know, there's always negotiation, there's always compromises, there's always a platform for dialogue, discussion about stuff. So there's land tenure, and then decisions about land use and transfer or management are typically made by the elders or the chief or lower clan. And any changes require community consent. That means all talk all right, community agree lodisla. People are like walk him something lodisla, ground blows are talk lo man. Okay, legally something straight law clan group straight on him. Okay, become community because it'll benefit community at the same time. Let me to look for years now people I stop now since 2009 we started one blood helping Molalo creating one blood school people are heavy come up to lo this lo ground lo mi lo meeting em stop lo church but you know church em just come here but ground em blow man to stop lo mi before church come. So there's always those issues that you need to resolve before you coming back to the city. As a look how you accommodate, how you negotiate, how you compromise law if someone is coming to do tourist project or made post or school. People are look think good what you'll pick and all the benefits and pluses and minuses of that. So the custodianship of land is passed down through generations, keeping it within the clan for cultural and spiritual continuity. Just something that's been passed down. We know that we don't question it. We just accept it because grand mi bla lapun papa or lapun mama lusim lo mi bla. So there's the religious importance too of the land. Land plays that critical role, Melanesian context, being closely tied to the ancestors, land and the ancestor spirits. Ancestral spirits are believed to dwell in the land, often in specific trees, rivers, rocks. Mi plap, lot is that, now this land believes that. So you talk, Shmilotu man, me no can believe. But you know deep within you are still, that's your deep level of kind of worldview stuff. Sacred sites, which are important in religious ceremonies, that's part of their initiation, everything come up there. Maybe connected to ancestors or mythical origins of a community, but that's where I start questioning. Okay, I accept it, and passing law place. And then someone said, but Tandy, they share I didn't know that. They actually share the gospel at the sacred place. Only sing, law too, only walking this la. And then through my own research, I found out from one of the girls, because she didn't like it too. And the uncle's father said, Do you know that our shell money is kept at the Tarayu by this? Oh. So they help as a form of helping each other. Mino sabe tu. Usat sotlo isla and help him lo shell money. And with for us, we're Christians too. Even our bishop, he owned a tubu, and I'm thinking, wow, is that contextualization in terms of how you call as regime that have to do that? That's where you ask a lot of questions as Lotuman. You can turn a blind eye, you can ask questions, but tumbun tuem kam danis lo sabla celebration lo church. Now some Christians only question him this la. We have the right to question that too. So where do you draw the line to? You want to stay that side you want to stay in Amel. But as I've been saying, you yet, sorry, you make decision, you yet, you what you feel in bell blow you, spirit blow up, God talking you also monem. Bell blow you by will let you know you feel comfortable with it or not. Don't go, don't do it. So it has a lot of religious connection, and this is where it gets to that point where we have to make decisions for our own good, for our well-being, and to grow in that faith. You don't want anything to hinder that or blocking this love. But that still at the same time you're being respectful. You say, "Oh God, me no walk in this love. Me sorry, but me stop." There are rituals related to agriculture, hunting and fishing. You have those rituals, lo harvest festival, lo when kind, lo yam, lo whatever and you can contextualize, transfer that into the the scripture too, where they have the Thanksgiving, where you look at a lot of the stuff that Thanksgiving, it wasn't money. You meet anim golo money. Thanksgiving only give him produce lo garden blow, lo farm blow, lo scripture, lo testament. It was the best out of the out of the garden blow, farm blow, will give you. Yeah, and you can see why do we do that? Because to honor him this last month, me no walk him this la. I think you play lo sipi you play walk him this la. You play walk him EM festival or Thanksgiving or when I'm in highway. I'm just guessing here. And then I saw at CLTC now Thanksgiving, it's good. You see now people bringing produce lo garden blow. Bibliki Old Testament only walk him all same. All no come lo money, only give him lo garden blow. When we say that sometimes we don't do that, then misfortunes come. We say we must walk him because that's belief, that's deeply rooted. We must walk him because I will walk him before. We say thinking this laman, we blind look at him because time Mary and got menstruation blame him look at him. How can you break from? Because I believe him root deep. I'm going hide there, but them manifestation blame you kakaim but you sick. Pagarap come up you. So how do you start unpacking those to understand? I said, me like in Papa God, people are free, because and believe me before, how can we change it? Through conversations with your lapun. Because a lot of our beliefs, I mean, people honor it, but it can imprison us, and you can start prisoner all this la. Okay. Land is symbolic. It represents life. Land has a history. Lo mi pla where mi pla kilim all Ephesians. All you call him for place me thing in past them. Where only call him all special one lem lo blood. That's where blood Ephesians come out. So every year mi pla There's a service that's held. If you've been to Rabaul and Tablo Malmalun, if you go up Lol Mountain, yeah, you look over Rabaul town, the the harbor and the volcano lo Tablo. Emlo and Tab no no only Kilimol Mane. So every year Lomi Plalo United Church because they were Methodist missionaries. Only go na the big service, only I walking church service. So land boundaries shows a clan's history and relationships with other groups. And Biblaya boundary blow you play to by God. And when you say, hey, Babito place, Manato Anibananda uti, how name calls him now, how we ended up here, you'll know. Because you don't end up in someone else's land. And they'll say, no good money is still money. That's the only conclusion I'll say. But that's a sign of boundary you stop. You don't wander into other people's. Now you play, I'm a river boundary, mountain boundary. And because of these land disputes are often come up here, emotional and complex involving spiritual and ancestral claims. This is where they say, when it comes to that, to really all you looking man all emotional now, they'll go to this level. Bali talk, this land, all scout him all name blow spirit how long man. Now you see none of them talk, are we in the 21st century? When I was doing my research, me pa anyone bla man or same. Now me think me pa anyone bla encyclopedia yeah man. And I'm thinking, yes, this guy have got split personality. A split personality also. He was here, but he was somewhere else, where you have different personalities functioning at the same time. This man, I said, he's talking as if he was living 200 years ago. And I had to sit there to understand what this guy was saying. But he was speaking so much sense. And I have never come across any tolai men like that. Lapun Papa M. Doctor. Thinking, crikey. And I sat with this man. Oh, I was at their community for weeks. I don't know, 2-3 weeks, Mr. Wantemo. But it's Laman and Story Lomi. Some of the things on psychology or anthropologists no kisi mi arem lomania. To mi sa give me plus I gave animals anthropologists we gave them what they needed to hear. But all stories that blow me playa me give him you now. So you'll find that our own stories, those deep meaning within that deep level of worldview and sitting down, we don't go there because we don't have the right people to talk to tell us those. So some of these stuffs we don't understand, dispute come up now. So land is symbolic. Land them ground here, land them. Like when we Biblalo Nambis, when we say Amotonoi, when we say that word, that's where the first people are first, when they came from New Ireland, they landed in canoes at that point. That's Lomi Plalo. So when you find traces of the same clan dispersed throughout the coastline of Rabaul, Kokopo, come down, they say, hey, one place system put down low, another place system low here. So you make those connections. Those connections are being traced even today. And for me, that was a big bulk of my research, was the importance of kinship systems that has kept the Tolai afloat, really. That's the really backbone of Kutla down, knowing your clan, knowing who you belong to. And it's a story, if I don't know who I belong to, or if I don't know who I am within society, Jesus knew where he came from. He was from that tribe. We have to know which tribe we come from, our own line. It has that significant importance you me. So for me, that has been an important part because it saved me. It was one of those unmarked rules that was formed in part of my worldview as a kid that saved me. It acted as a warning because they told me, you know, can go sleep around nothing, you can marry nothing, people like this land. So all this like thing below me. So they acted like my compass when you're talking about worldview. So we come to the corporate rights to land. Again, Melanesian society, land rights are often shared. Now you are, hey, all right, below me, look, it's la ground here. But we share collectively as a group. Unless you go and pay it, land has become a commodity, you pay for it somewhere else. People are starting to do that. With our plantations have been sold off, carved off. People are pull up little plantations, people are buying. But some of us, like our there's a plantation close to my village. It's big coconut plantation. This collective ownership means that no single individual has exclusive rights. No, God. That's why you have disputes. Because someone will sell your land away, will sell it and behind you buy out. Conflict now, dispute come up. Yeah, and that's coming out with the ILG. We'll talk about that coming up soon. So this collective ownership model it fosters a strong sense of communal responsibility. You're accountable to your community, to your clan. You know, to me, this have a man, Olania no neck voice blow me walking no God. They're all part of that. They are responsible. So you have that. Suppose you say when you're responsible to not talk. You talk say all man all no. You think about no God. Neck loss talk no God. They're still part of that. So that's that word I would use, a relational accountability to your own people, to your own clan. About relationship building, restoring, keeping that relationship. So land is as a sense of identity and belonging. That it provides that. And you may all get that way. Even if you've grown up in a settlement, if you're from somewhere else and you've grown up somewhere, living off someone's land, you all land to talk him you may not come lawyer all tumble land blue me black come all come on other side, other black place. But land gives us identity. You suppose you talk me all time. Also me challenging one blood. Simbu man lo Canberra. Me to him, but you blow away. Me blow all me blow must be. Hey, you blow through must be. No I told mama papa lies blow on top. Yeah, me to blast story now. Em come back na talk. You talk this la you must have a land blow you sablo simbu ya. You know him talk me must be simbu. People are in this latter ma. I said, oh, land blow you too stablo simbu. So some of us we've grown up in places that we said, I'm living here, but is there any story to connect us with those? Is there any visitation to connect us to I know I'm related to, even if they're here? And I was just talking to someone as bloody heavy come up low. You start low, now you have this attitude, and then you find out you're actually in a relationship with your own brother, your own sister, cousins. When you find out people are same come out me place. Because going back home, that brings your identity to your people. Even for me now, only waiting me, only ringing me, now me talking Papa, I have to go. Because only me waiting Mama lo, Brisbane by car. You me play start my meeting, but the play waiting me, you come. Because big lambarata am sorry by me come. So it's always coming back home. It's always coming back, not to only people, but to your ass place, to your little place where you call him. Miblalo tola nibla call him mother by heart of your where clan him stop. The sense is belonging is expressed in phrases like we come home from this land. I'm from this land. I can go around the world, but I'm told I married from this little place. The land belongs to me and I belong to it. We belong to. The land belongs to us and we belong to it. The land is where all to you mean all planning. They'll tell you, oh lanya mi planning more law, land law inside there, law time law war, they'll tell you. Because me plan no got place law. But go back law place. Even all resettlement places where I did my research with, because of the volcanic eruption, all stop. Only Karimolania, all Durun Blolia, all die. Put him no kanuna, all go across kolo. Lo side, lo about side. Lo planning all can lo up. Because land, even if you're dead, it's still identity. You go back. Okay. So losing the land can mean losing cultural heritage and ancestral connections. That's looking at it from that other perspective. Identity and belonging. How does the land shape the identity of Melanesian people? How does it shape it? It shapes our identity in so many ways. It's that something you can't put your finger on, you just know. It's the knowing thing that you just know. It shapes how I behave. It shapes how I interact with my people. It shapes how I respect, sense of who I am when I'm home. As I said to Roland, I said, no, when I go home, I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going into town or Kokopo. So, Mr. Bless. Because I'm going to go. But Mr. Bless. Yeah, and how does, from a spiritual significance to that, how does the land mediate life in abundance? Good blessing down. Mediate lots, isn't it? But we don't think about it. When you sit down as a person and go through these questions, you will discover you will answer them in your own way. It's got that identity and belonging, the spiritual significance of that, and the cultural values and boundaries within. And we've just talked about that. How do concepts of sacred spaces, no-go areas, you don't go there. Because that's where it's big plastic live on this lab. Hey, you talk this loud, the plan by no go, but white man by go. Because his worldview is different, her worldview is different. Well, they don't have that, they all go. So the concepts of place and boundary, Melanesian worldview is closely connected to specific places. We always go back to this is very significant with the First Nations here and the Canadians and American First Nation people. They've got even studies on on connection to the land, not only here with the Aborigines learning from country, but how people go and live on the land, that the land can speak to them through the plants, through the rivers, through whatever. And it's almost like living in the Garden of Eden. And when I was in the States, because I enrolled with them first in one of these universities there, one of the guy, First Nation guy. That's why I first was aware of this. And I said, man, you milo PNG no idea. It's almost like we're just sort of immune. There's no side mirror or look. But some of these people, they're so conscious and aware of what the land can teach them, or being living on the land. There's a sense of sacredness of doing that. You're in touch with nature. You're in touch with creation. Some people say, oh, we'll go off the grid. No power, no phone, nothing. You'll have a different lifestyle. Yeah. So crossing these boundaries or disputing land is serious because it affects identity. Always your sense of peace and one plus something. If you, hey, you me go yena mi no lusi mi blago malelo past them. Me looking time here.
Thank you.
You play thing when me play rest past them. Go have a break. Okay. You play 5 minutes rest, and then we've got still a fair bit to cover here. Can we have 5 minutes break, or you want to just sit through?
Yes, 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Kwani blago?
Yes.
Mr. Blago. Okay. Okay, go have a quick break. Oh yeah, good. We're coming to that. Yeah, when you come back, we'll listen to the video, to the little clip there, and we'll talk about the ILG. You'll be close to penis. Okay, that's good. I think that sorry, me. I just realized I probably didn't put the essay structure and cluster for you guys. Better do that.
Dr. Teddy,
Yeah. You talk.
uh, just uh, one just one question, Joel. Did you upload this course on Cluster?
The Melanesian, this on the land. This one we are
Yeah,
looking.
all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, over there in like event.
Yeah, I'm Saplo. I'm just on cluster now. Yeah, it's there. But what I realized that I didn't upload the course, the essay outline me vocabulary blah. I just realized that me no put in this last, so I'll do it when the class finishes. I'm just checking. Yeah, I didn't put it in. The structure of your essay, I forgot to put that up the other day, so I'll put it on after we finish the class. So you find him out that essay structure help him you That did it help you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll post it on class after the class. Okay.
Dr. Tandy, you are
Yeah, I
me.
just realized it now looking through my notes. I said, oh, I didn't do that. Yeah, so make a note of that. Post. Okay. Yeah, this lecture we started this on Wednesday. It's on cluster. Worldview and the land. Okay. So I'll do another couple of 2 or 3 more, and then we'll see a short video. Okay, and then we'll touch on the ILG, the importance of that, the pluses and minuses about that. Okay. So you will come. Okay. So I think. Sorry, did someone want to say?
Yes. Yes.
You talk.
Right. One class keeps on
Okay.
based on land. So land is everything. Plants, everything is made up of land. So what the question was here? Suppose community know what? Land will become the influence when there is no people or community. The land will become valuable.
You ask him question,
Yes.
I didn't quite get that. You talk easy, Pastor.
Land is made up of everything.
Yeah,
So our ancestors, every histories, everything is come out from land. So my question is, if there is no community of people, the land will become available.
The land will become a what? Sorry?
Valuable or useful. Thank you.
Okay. So is that a comment or you're just adding a comment or you're asking a question?
Just ask him to
Yeah.
question.
So if there's, because I'm not hearing you. I'm not sorry how why I'm not getting you 100% there. So you're saying if there's no land or you, oof, mino kisimgutia.
Suppose land and stuff, but no what man now, and people or communities have to display land. Is the land become up useful?
This la land by come up useful. By come up useful is
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it depends how people see the land. Yes, land is useful in every sense, whether it's a fertile land or not fertile land. Land is still seen as something that you can stay and do whatever you need to do. Whether you're in the highlands where it's lush, or in Rubal where it's lush, or where you're in Africa where there's desert, that land am still land, low line. All ko shepherding, all bulmaka blow, la sip blow, all goat blow, lo desert, yeah. No got something you looking wasteland, yeah, but no got them still ground. It's still useful. People around Australia for 4 months looking. Australia is big, and only a small percentage of Australia is livable. The rest, them desert, yeah. But it's still land for the Aboriginal people. They still see that as land. We lived in Africa. We saw the Maasai herding their coats and bulmakaulo in a holik simwaralo where. But passing blow, lo say slash him vein blow bulmakao and all drinking blood blow. That all say survive to us or make him see milk lo bulmakao or goat. So it doesn't matter whether it's lush or barren, it's still land for someone. It's still useful. Yeah. But you bla looking here, you miss away. Let I create him. I'm must not create him conflict to her. We saw that the biblical story to come. You look him now, lo you blessed to him crap him, how must not crap him heavy. But it's how we treat the land and respect him. Yeah, so land is more than just a physical space. It holds spiritual, historical, and cultural importance. It is central to a lot of our belief system, whether indigenous here or us. Indigenous that's why a lot of, we are not outspoken, but a lot of the indigenous population, whether the Maoris or here, or especially Canada and the States, the Red Indians, they are vocal for their land and their waters, their rivers. There's so much reverence and spirituality connected to that because land gives life. So as I was saying, land in conflict resolution too and peace building, I want plus something here. Land also plays a crucial role in conflict resolution and maintaining peace within communities. Disputes over land boundaries, rights, or usage are common in Melanesia, but these conflicts are typically resolved through traditional practices, whether you negotiate, mediate, Moka system stop, Mipla Tambu system, Warporong stop. We have our own traditional system law, fixing conflict on same. And land-related disputes can lead to tribal tensions, they can also have opportunities for community reconciliation when handled accordingly to custom and to, I would say, from scriptural basis thinking. It's coming from the church place. It can bring a lot more hope in people's life to see things, and this is where I'm coming up to see this video. The ability to settle land disputes peacefully is essential. Lo yumi all get hang. So what I'm about to show you guys now, when I was doing this, I just came across this. This is a reconciliation that took place because what happened now you place away that ILGM come now. Now blood some man no sabe lo this lato. Say, oh, you have to register. So a lot are pulling to get the figures. They're pulling people from different clans to make him number blow all. And I've seen this, I witnessed this at home too. I said, show me your paper. Because I was doing the same thing, but more for a good blasting down in terms of my own work, my research. And I said, how come you've got all these? But these are from a different clan. But I knew, because I worked in lands department, I know this. Me, sabe law, customary law na. Work one time or 7 years. I worked with the lands department for 4 years. And when at Unitec, I used to go and work over the Christmas holidays at the lands department in Rabaul. So me talk. Na you kisi mo lang name blow away. Na how na you kisi this lad as well non black. So I knew there's a lot of fault within that. So this gathering has caused so much conflict within the different clan, and the church got involved. And this is the role of the church. How do you see yourself as a pastor? Where you can stand as an Amel man, Lord. Mediate, have the position of guiding people. So this was a gathering of 7 clans, sub-clans. This is in East New Britain. In unity, and the church took the initiative to do this. And they used the theme Psalm 133, 133, 1 to 3. Has anyone got access to a Bible there? Can someone read that for us? Can someone read it to us? If you've got it?
How good a pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Verse 2, it is like a precious oil poured on the head, running down on the breast, running down on the Aaron's bread, down on the collar of his robe. Verse 3, it is as if the neon of Aaron were all on a mountain town, for there is the Lord stewards bestows his blessings, even life forever.
Thank you. It's funny here, it's one of the shortest chapter in the Bible. There's only 3 verses. So this all Krenia come to one time here, and this is one of the things that I say in my other classes. The church is a focal point, key component of community. It should be a place where something should come up. Whether I'm talking to my counseling students or whether I'm talking to the anthropology students, looking at how anthropology can act as a platform for evangelists, for working within discipleship. So this law, all church leaders, they took it upon themselves to bring in this law. All conflict come up now, all look sawelo. Forgiveness, it must come up. So we'll look at this.
Bugi Kamar. Emotion because I think all lapun belum ipla, all papa belum ipla, even start put one time, for long time, in a holiday out finish na, ni play buruk-buruk. Ni play buruk-buruk long all kind of loto. Some law winter all ministries, some play winter all denominations. Tu lo government ni kam tok lo side lo layan this. So ni lo kamat mo layan this gani mo clan or sub clan lo mi play inside lo itla big la clan re you call him uramat clan. Inside sila uramat clan ni katol li ko sub clan re now people li ko kamat mo ILGs long. What time mo li kamat mo ILGs long? Ni katol all dispute na mel lo mi play. Especially lo side lo property listing na display sambla bauto kol lo iya sambla bauto lo iya sepin saya gatol jukla heavy kama pinamel lo mitla lo boundaries lo mitla no bin kama ko so mitla saya tok go kam long ground mitla saya agin si mitla yet true mitla one top less sambla line mitla relations one blue batika kain heavy kama pinamel lo mitla lo side lo ground na side lo tu and one them landi lo mitla now we start the United then on start lo revive out sampai joining sabar sampai joining PNG revival sampai ikamat small ministries dong one now in that plan yo tok namin lo mitla lo side lo to so mitla kamat one special time mitla lugi mo nothing in right time long god emi allowing ba mitla mas kawo bung one time all pastors all ministries all pastors all denominations now mitla kamat one plan mark also mitla one bell lo one time inside lo missions also body block right for slow time ni play no bin agree one time especially lo side lo doctrine sem doctrine lo United to Golden doctrine lo Catholic Golden doctrine lo SDA o na kain church Golden so mi play sa gada sa kain this unity until today mi plan mas long god because when mi kamat one something na lo mi play where now mi play start lo luksa na kampong one time going forward lo mi play now emotion we place stuff inside the denominations, some place stuff inside the ministries, but this la understanding. Now we start na melo mi plow separate, lo one flow. Even though we play buruk, but I'm alright. La understanding stuff na melo mi plow still mi plow ura leaders, we play still one inside the Christ. The lo side long ground, we play kampung one them now we play start lo understanding more. Only big old boundaries na melo mi play now na mi play unite also. True. M ground body sila sub clan also M ground body sila sub clan also M looks how we stop now so we play kam lo sila agreement also we play must unite we play must reconcile na talk sorry long lara plan na we play believe also God by forgiving we play
Mission up making blaming evangelistic ministries we stand up making executive overseer executive long na all the member in charge of blaming evangelistic ministries all kata mama, all kata begini, all kata yang telah. People inside long, and then our church. So the spirit election to do. Or can you find this for one time? Why blind to us everybody pray? But people have long and you can find partner.
Church Revival Center of Papua New Guinea. Talk sorry.
Reconcile na kami way forward. Layu biar orang mat. Tumara. Yumi bay. Haliwan natin na Kisenberg all in heritage lady. Lo bless lo hunda misal makimo. Ito sorry lo alga orang mat. Lo wana kan tok kita lagi di straight lo you plan. Wana kan walk about lo plan. Wana kan kita lagi di straight. Ito costume you plan tok planti. Lo mi plan you plan cross. You plan one them through. One them mi plan. Misanam makimol. They ask you forgiveness, but you all the government. You can forgive me, plan. I talk about two. I forgive me, plan. With I believe and by the spirit of the unity. I unite in unity one time. Kasi one ka man, one ka uramat, one ka lukluk, one ka walkabout, one ka tok-tok.
Yeah. This kandungan siya, hindi niya mamaslungan. Because there's booms, and people, hindi pala yung waklong waiting. Ilobin ka mablong or tugulay walong papablo mi pala kami na now yet, and first in history by kes pala kaya bungi kamat. Lo, wala katawra mo, bali bungan siya. People mi pala siya, lukimi pala siya, nar pala. Or clearly siya cross paths nung nar pala. Na now, niya mamaslong ko sila sidaw na sila bungi, emi passing, mi pala wat, mi pala clear wat siya, mi pala mamas, butong. Na now, siya mi lapun lang. Na cross by table mi pala ko, na mi bin. We are mamas because we like we have the fact that we look things that we come. Or should we like? We don't say what you been only like me, but long as I time, but we looking it's like a unity they come at it long all of the around 7 plus clan. It's a long run.
So, military will say, Tete, this like day, and one like historic event, and come up with this like day. People are going to say, one like reconciliation, this like reconciliation, you know, one like place, but all get a place. We play in a bin sawe one day one time or we play in a bin sawe stop one time we play no got one day na mila we play now we play kampung one time so niya mama say miliki mo say big play something lo inside lo clan lo mi play it's like day one play big play day lo life lo mina you look at mina na blue thinking lo this like thing long time we play stop because we play ni looking mo leadership lo nila yung sa leadership lo ramat ni no ka to leadership sa lo clan lo nila so now it's la something come up reconciliation come up nila all youth nila looking nila one belt pro sa mi makim ni sanak makim nila all youth sa long Pauling village, mi pla one bell through lots la. Something when mi pla been waiting long time na now mi will come up.
The first of its time in history, the long time we talk about different experiences in this time ceremony until today. Long time we talk about also mi play buruk though mi play can talk also mi play one clan, mi play black tie, but still mi play division because no all cultural backgrounds, disputes no ground, even church disputes with like that. But today I want something where me plan mama sa mother me plan feeling mo sir. And something where MC down in me plan and one pa event where MC down in me plan and me play look ko sem tomorrow all kikini do me plan ba si down good. This la this unity na melo me pa long ka time and me start and me play billing ko sem arre blong and MTT today and babito ko sem the beginning of a new era where me plan ba look forward long me plan ba holy man differences opinions in differences inside local backgrounds, church issues, even on ward, and long pa time me play walkabout. Today me play by walkabout, or some one pa clan, one pa tribe me play walkabout. So, kasi pa to again, being a mother, me pa looking mo sem because me ni sa karim tikini, mama me pa karim tikini, me play bili was sem tomorrow, all tikini blow me play, blow me play ba si down good. All ba alright, na two me play inside lo unity inside lo Christ me believe me babito ko sem Psalms 133 one ni ko not no 3 and ito ko sem how beautiful and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity and more sem anointing when put down no head do aron ni ko go down lo hem pati si gaman so em talk blongo time ko sa naplo talk blongo me play believe was there'll be a great change me play look forward lo me breakthroughs after breakthroughs Wences after Wences because of the unity na and blessing ang tatlo me plan
That big la mamaslo, this black program the come up to this like big flag event. We thank you Lord God, one na thinking when the rising of elders or leader of the long gaulim, especially Lord Ramat people, mighty leaders, ni amamas na ni to thank you. Na we got one bloody floating to was notice lagi pwede rin sila yung one bloody the makin the pokok makin mo youth I saw so mitlo you to stop long la time lo pagarak. Why? Because so leaders lo yumi ilo ben salapu. Osem na tete bodis la time ni amamas na ito thank you lo good la wisdom lo papago de yumi mo leaders lo yumi all good la papab lo yumi lo clan na only make it la reconciliation day lo lura matede lo disla sometime thinking lo mi like by this passing unity we must stop now na by no finish lo ma by mitlo lura ma people must go out one provision one day look you go you move now one of something God even promised him lo all lura ma special by people and by come up we go good initiative through the flame evangelistic ministries through lo overseer na pastor amenulayas I mean this initiative become lo big blouse this role kata all ILCC must come lo one plamanta so it must come lo one plamanta so a minimum sem it must ikat one understanding thinking namin lo man instead lo yun brooklyn mo sem plant your ILCs and then we will fight cross ko kam lo legal ground lo yun and then because in Malhavi now social problems inside lo place lo yun so a main asking thing where all line blue lo urama all lakin ba yun come up with la reconciliation you must come up lo all kita all clans inside lo binding lands binding area because now you will create implant the ILC you will come up with all cross fight one ILC by sim repla side do repla ground do repla brata so sablu sta blongaso by looking also by possible maybe na by that cross by people come inside the one ILC inside the one bless as I speak now you start there you suppose lo every more life you lo kaira suppose lo come you can reconciliation but unfortunately not come in so lo when return when ask no come but suppose lo kaira urmet what them kaira for reconciliation now but unfortunately not come because you lo different or thinking wrong all stuff so that's why no come so lo nga ministries ito also larin yumi uramat tasol yumi by yumi reconcile no matter what suppose online no come but at least yumi uramat imas bu only man one time na yumi bunun is all this become one despite long heavy so come up with that so you only come one pla inside lo place uramat na ogatap so lo nga only walking by all the time lo or cleanse by setting foundation so that this land now you come up with leadership now this law occasion reconciliation of what all leaders non chief the place especially lo uramat and setting foundation especially making history that ni progetol na pro cleanse kind of ni planta pro kaket or sibali mali or tuli maskam no bisla understanding lo reconcile na kama buklaluhu na buklating so kama because sino ko kamap lo towards lo kontra baby blue yumi district gasel district what Pomo district boli release na disla bibla baby blue yumi bibla binding electric so that's why na mi pala ko kimsla long nakimol man only mas one bell all the time mas call one batting team only mas come up one plus in the all walk about one time no what differences na mel only the place so that you may come up lo towards the 2027 where you may come up lo nuclear electric all the time mas that one batting team na one plus mind that's all walk about forward
since history and we plan ramat and we plan first line lo come up lo here so everything in cultural backgrounds everything even church history and sa come up lo mi plan ramat past them so Mipral go past line. Na Mipral believe him what happened to us today and to by come up to Narapla. Mipral believe to him when something and come up even breakthrough time all Mipral go past siga breakthrough Mipral believe him all Narapla staff plan go Mipral to all by falling when something where Mipral come through longen na pamito ko sem above all Mipral kakatrace Mipral believe Mipral look forward longan pa new plus something em sama ramat bat em already na festival na sa clan lumipla em festival na sa mama inside na sa clan lumipla so mitla look at solo what's happening tomorrow.
Now, we like encouraging all kita yang para you said you come, long the slide day kita, but we encouraging you kita also we like you all kita mas come up unite, but you play mas come boom what you all people like you pala, also now you play you come up, sabali you come up, sabali you come up, but you are in motion now we are unite, you that thing, all kita clearing you right now. So me encouraging you pala, but you play mas come, you go what you all papa ini. Nah, bayi na pada saya bal papa belum orang dai, nah ini yang pala bayi isi macam bayi ni juga, bayi ni staff. Nah, bian kan bayi ni orang buruk lah bayi orang bayi ni orang kabar nah orang ni logu. Nah, now ini mas, di pulau apa mas? Apa dia mau laku beli pala. Walau saya tinggal di pulau waktu malu lagi lah, kalau di pulau pala orang kalian. Nah, buat na bau tu kayak ini kata mas. Ini kan sini pala, bayi ni kata wabu macam ini sama macam wabu macam. Kalau bukan ada lagi milong, kita long uramat ya.
Kita tokok belum kalau olah plak lens pasien, olah plak sistek lens, inside the rhyming tribe, tadi kalau macam Kairat, Tagat, Kimbali, Mali, dan Makolkol. Kamu sistek lens belum pula inside the rhyming tribe or Kakat tribe. Ni lagi tokok belum orang. Now in the time belum unite, in the time belum spiritual unite. Especially side of spiritual life, side of lotu, side of physical life, side of the upholding ground. So we give the talk to the Lord, it's a clean plan. Now leadership inside of Bible, now in the time when we go. Leadership inside of Kakat, now in the time when we reconcile one time, na boom as one inside of the liberation. Now talk problem like the talk problem you go youth today. Now you are in Monganat, we believe this is the time in the coming to this historic event. No, saya program dipilih possible youth sebelum plan yang understand. Okay, mutual pasa, ini reconcile, dipelajarikan one time, dan dipilih possible youth for the generation by orang. Ini also before, oleh kalau lagi semua lihat lo saya lo tu lagi semua lihat lo saya long ground. Now dipilih possible youth belum plan now besi ground inside the unity, inside the peace, also mutual pasa, you go fast long lo dipelajari now. Thank you.
You play right. You plotting with him. You play looking or low to ya boom one time. Reconcile or plenty heavy stuff. Church now I'm all same. Every something fail, you may believe Lord church law. Carry plenty heavy now, give him easy load, Lord get a man law community supposed to be boom one time na unite. All same example or line walking here. Ground bagarapi mall, cross bagarapi mall or can law too, but all pastors blow law too, yeah, or come talk sorry. They talk sorry, Lord get I. So you play thing with him. Did you learn something from that? Can you, when you look back to your community, you talk, where do I start? Well, me small man, that's all, but you'll be surprised God will raise you to be a bridge for all the conflict and heavy mistablo community blow you me, or community blow you. Oops. So did you learn something from that?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
May like talk ligli kilo desla
Okay, you talk.
desla ILG mi ombla bigla something lo country employee mi only come up him that's all. I mean no touch him papa ground yet because time ibla look him one bla man only go into the office look up now okay only register him this la ground na em blogen yet na em karam eno no karam up him all papa ground. That's like when now we got a big problem in Mr. Winslow country employee.
True. And Plandioli no sabe. I know we'll just go through this. What is an ILG? So you like some sample sabe. I know I did this last year. One man salim message law bless. Mama mi go bless na all same. Me need him help lo this la. So this could be a help for you. You might have ILG law bless. So what does it stand for? It's an incorporated land group, ILG. It's a legal entity. And the person who actually created this, I know him, is a black white man lawyer. I'm sorry, Lomi. So he was a lawyer, but an anthropologist too. So he was one of the brains with a lot of other one talks. Only walk him this ILG, only start him. So this is that allows traditional land ownerships to formally register their land under collective ownership. Clan Onima. It was established under the Land Groups Incorporated Act, MLO, Loyumi, to help indigenous Yumi communities, Papua New Guinean communities manage their land according to their traditional customs while providing legal recognition and protection. So that once you register, you become a legal document law. So nokat man and you are covered by that. So suppose I'm like something like I'm not me register penis, me that. But that's the thing, are they genuinely true? Person you talk, yeah? That's where all conflict come up with this last. So anyway, let's see what ILG stands for. And its key, what am I doing there? So key features of an ILG is a collective ownership, group owning, a legal recognition, and that group manage that land, and it's a protection against all man come grab him land. They can't because it's already registered. That's a legal document. No one can refute that. It's there. And it's got a governance, which means there's actually a committee, a group that oversees the whole thing. So the land is owned by a group, usually a clan or extended family, rather than individuals. This ensures that the land remains in the hands of the group and is managed for the benefit of all its members. And a legal recognition, once the group registers, because you have to register and you have to pay a fee, once the group registers as an ILG, you give your name, the government officially recognizes their ownership of the land. So you play on him is lagram, you play, even though you give a man a put him supply line. Law and law, but the repercussions of that and by Bagarapi Molan, suppose you're maybe plan or asylum is la. So how can you refute that? I'm sapping is law now land gaman lawyer. So this is good to give him some plus understanding law this la. So this helps prevent land disputes and gives the group legal standing in the court if it's taken to court. So the ILG allows the land owning group to make decisions about the use of their land. They're the ones who say, oh, we'll allow this outside group to come in here, even though the community doesn't say it because they're registered. They can say what they need to do. This is why conflict just builds up, because Yeah. Once it's legal, it's legal. Including leasing it for development projects like agriculture or tourism or something else. And the group must, or forestry, if you want to cut or grow, balsa lo this la, you grow oil palm lo this la, or cacao, and then group decides. And the group must follow both traditional customs and modern legal frameworks in managing that piece of land. So the ILG helps protect communal land from being taken over by individuals and companies or outsiders or government without the group. Only the group will give them the green light to go ahead, but otherwise, no God. This is important in preserving the cultural and economic values of land for future generations. And ILG must have a structure, including elected leaders or a committee who are responsible for making decisions. You can't just, it's like a mini organization, you become that. See, in so few people know, you test the AZ as a structure. As leaders, it has responsibilities. So that's how it incorporated land groups are a way for Papua New Guineans communities in Papua New Guinea to do this, to safeguard their customary land while engaging with modern economic and legal system. But this is where Sabe no Kisimal Turanglayan, they just get swept in. I remember I went home and I was at the lands department and I went with a couple of customary officers and only talking me all walking big blah, Pungia, all kisim clan lo, Kokopo side lo, North Coast side blah. Now you're walking big blah feast lo Matupit Island under this one ILG name. Lo. But all customary me talk, hey, I want to say that. I thought, me plan no, because we are in conflict with them. But when I went back to the office in Rabat, in Kokopo, I was working with the other lady. I said, who's that name? What clan name will you using? Lo this la group only big him, only working feast there. Oh, okay. So me give him Maria name, all names me got. Now I talk, all I need using wrong plan name ya. And talk, this la name you carry me come here. This is the name they should have used. But no one has that. That I'm the only one who have access to that. Me no stop to look less. The pioneer will have on black eye blow all cap, only working in the 50s. So that's one of the danger of creating ILGs and you just pull him line and go inside. So this is another thing where you can share real life examples, and all the other groups have shared that. And someone has said, man, we're getting this group, lots of stories came up from the other groups over the years. The last 2 or 3 years I've been taking this. Even only kissing royalty lo this la some plato. And then some of you are not aware of this. This is awareness raising lo this la. You might go back to your villages, to your communities. And I said, where did I hear about ILG? I didn't know about that. But me kisim sa lo class here. Like this last Martin and Christmas, I'm emailing me, come and Mama, me play working this la. So I said, you've got to do this. You have to register, you have to pay this amount of money law. But all must give you all name law. You play it by walking, but the final deal, now you play registering group, yeah. So has anyone have any idea, been involved in ILGs in your community?
Yes, I have one. Daniel from Mans.
Okay. Daniel, you talk.
I like to say about the ILGs. From my observation, I see that some other parts, especially in Papua New Guinea, they don't have ILGs. That's why some foreign companies they came in and explore and exploit the illegal smuggling of trees or the minerals, all this. So the land now is leaf barren. This is the concern in Papua New Guinea, especially the people in the village. So this is one of the big problem in our country.
Yeah.
So agency is very, very important.
Yeah. So this la I'm giving me plus some awareness lo this la. It's always knowledge is power. It liberates people. So if you know a little bit explore as Sumatini I messaged me over Christmas. I'm thought, hey, so it's useful that he heard that and then come back and ask for help. So if you're already aware of that, then let them talk, yeah, and at least you're aware of that. Some of us are not, but at least you are aware now, you hear about it. You try and help, but it has to be a group ownership. It has to be, I think, suppose there has to be honesty in it. Because Sambla, you say, Sambla will give man, kisim, Sambla man will make him number. They make up the number, so number big blah, but then plan to get man to inside. So it has to be carefully monitored in that sense. Yeah. It's almost like a security safety net for securing its ground Blumi. It's a good thing because once it's registered, no man come inside like all these land grabbing people here, they come and know this land by no come up because ground here all registering place. Okay. So that was okay going through that. Bit of a video, but I think the main thing from that is the responsibilities on us as church people, pastors, community people, that we take the cultural aspect of that and the Christian perspective to that, the biblical concept of respect and nurturing and reconciliation when there's disputes. But to avoid the disputes, talk sabe past them. You have to be learned, kisim sabe lo disla, plan lo you mean behind him talk that's all, but we have to know do our own research, find him out a bit more. Plan something lo disla stuff lo internet. You can find it. Okay. So I've just put some examples here. We go quickly, our time is got 10 minutes here. An example, the role of the church with the land and mediation in Bougainville. The context is during the Bougainville crisis, land disputes played a significant role in the conflict. Mindosavelo yublalo antap to this the Bougainville this land people bite come up this la. The traditional Melanesian view saw the land as sacred and belonging to the clans. But external mining interests, driven by economic motives, created tensions over land exploitation. They came and raped their land. They polluted their rivers. And we saw pictures of that. Trees were dying. And that's probably the same with the Ramu Fly River or Toromo and Pipiolo River named the Garapimia. So Melanesian view, land was viewed as a community-owned resources with deep ancestral connection. The Panguna mines operations disregarded this. There was a lot of spiritual stories around the Panguna mine because I visited the mine. I planned the story lol Poroman Blumi lol Buka, whole story. They had spiritual. That site was sacred. That side, all mountain, yeah, all got story lol. Only disturbing more plant is something low ground, yeah. So that fueled not listening to customary stories, cultural stories, because they're just there for the money. So that fueled that resentment that took a lot of lives. So Christian response, the churches in Bougainville, especially the Catholic Church, and women's groups played a key role in the mediation process. Christian leaders promoted peace by emphasizing biblical stewardship and the shared responsibility to care for God's creation. They also worked within Melanesian traditions of communal land ownership, helping to restore relationships between the clans and bring reconciliation through dialogue, through conversation. So the church did that. And the outcome was the reconciliation efforts were rooted in both Melanesian traditions, Bougainville traditions, and Christian principles of peace and stewardship, showing a harmonization of worldviews. The land was seen as God-given and therefore be treated with respect by all. And I like this. This is coming up, and I put this for a lot of masters or even thinking, that this is one of, he was the first moderator for the Uniting Church. Miblasaya good Lord, Lapun Papaya. Worldview and the theology of land. Influences like Leslie Bossiter or Mblo Choice, grassroots theology of the land, and that's his theory, highlight that the Melanesian understanding of land also integrates a Christian worldview from Bossiter's perspective. He emphasized the harmony between traditional Melanesian land beliefs and biblical teachings, particularly focusing on the stewardship of the earth and the care for creation as part of God's mandate. Part of God's mandate. It's mandatory. We are mandated to care for the land. Theologically, land is viewed as part of God's creation and trusted to humanity to be tended with care and aligned with the spiritual harmony of Melanesian cosmology, where everything is integrated. So just wanted to finish off with that. How should the church teach about the land? It's a challenge for you, and as pastors, as community workers, as city workers, you might see yourself as a young person. You start thinking about these things. How would you do that even in your assignment, your essay? Discuss ways to help Christians navigate tensions between biblical and traditional Melanesian views of the land, the role of the church in advocating for responsible land use and environmental care. Sometimes we just don't, we just survive, we are survivors. Grand by step. We are passerbys. You may also kanu ya one pla ship ya I'm go sail ta solo night na I'm gone. But that attitude, no God, we still have that respect, and we are mandated, commanded to be responsible for what God has given to us. So we have to teach biblical principles, show how the Bible values stewardship, community, and respect for creation, respect cultural practices, acknowledge the spiritual and ancestral significance of the land, encourage dialogue, promote conversations between elders, church leaders, and community members about land issues, and integrates faith and culture, finding ways for Christians to honor both God and cultural traditions in land use and disputes, and focus on reconciliation. Use Christian teaching to resolve conflicts peacefully while respecting cultural identity. Sort of concluding with that, in conclusion, the land in the Melanesian context is more than a physical resource. It is the foundation of life, spirituality, and identity. It plays a vital role in both the physical and spiritual economy of the people. and its significance is understood in terms of community, ancestry, and sacredness. Understanding the Melanesian worldview of the land provides valuable insight into how Melanesian societies view themselves and their relationships with each other and the natural world. Now, this is what I've put for your reflection for this week, and for the next. Now we're in week 3. For the next remaining 5 weeks, the due date will be on a Sunday, not a Friday. So for this is due this week's, that's due on 19th, the 19th October. So I'll put that on also on cluster. So how does Melanesian worldview influence the way people understand and live out their culture? So what I'm actually doing here, I've taken stuff from blend as part of culture. I've just put this here, looking back at the concept of culture. The last week's was touching on land and a few other things included. But I've put a little bit and reflect on how the beliefs, ways of seeing the world, the Melanesian society. So the question is that, so that's for that. And then we cover that. That's all on I took that out to put it first last week. So this was the PowerPoint from last week, from Wednesday. So that's all on cluster also. So I'll post it. I've put a reminder to post the essay structure that I went through with you guys. I'll post it after the class. And WhatsApp group, yeah, me working Benisibla. So what I might do, I might post these two on cluster beside the essay. Probably the structure, it might take a lot of your space on your phone, but it's all on cluster. I'll post that structure on cluster. So M.Worldview now, so I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. All best of luck with Roland, because he'll be okay. But I know got plan the story of PNG, but then by got some plan.
Sorry,
Okay.
straight lo missing you.
Sorry, say that again.
Me talk sorry straight lo missing you. Lo spent 2 weeks eh.
Thank you.
Na boy go eh.
Me gonna bless.
Lo rabaula. Please me pla. Amen.
Yeah. I'm gonna bless. So at least you got WhatsApp law, but I'll be checking from home. WhatsApp group stop. I'll look at the structure again and see if I can fit it on, post it on cluster, WhatsApp too for you to have a look. Is that going to be easier for some?